So those are all the big questions that we will be raising today in the show and trying to find out who would win a general election if it was held today. First, let's bring you the methodology that's been used for this survey. The survey was conducted across 240 parliamentary constituencies. Respondents from 526 polling stations were surveyed. The total sample size of the survey is 11,820. The survey was conducted between the 24th of July and the 5th of August this year. So over those 11 days, the survey was conducted. I have special guests who will be joining me in a moment to tell me exactly what they think about the findings of the India Today Mood of the Nation survey. Remember, there's plenty more of this in India Today magazine that hits the stands on Friday. But let's first come to my first big question before I introduce my panelists. We've just witnessed the monsoon session of Parliament and a complete washout over the Lalit Modi and the Vyapam controversies. Facing the heat was External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So we asked the nation, have Modi's ministers and chief ministers dented his image? This is the first finding of our survey. 54% say yes. 54% of those surveys say yes. 34% say no. And can't say at the moment is 12%. 54% said yes, no is 34%, can't say is 12%. The next question that we asked in this round was also whether Sushma Swaraj and Vasundhara had helped Lalit Modi and were they right to help the former IPL commissioner. 44% said no, they should not have done that. Only 30% said yes, they had done the right thing. Can't say was 26%. The third question in this context was the manner in which the demand for resignation was made. Should they have resigned? Should Sushma Swaraj have resigned? 46% say yes, she should have resigned. 1 in every 2. No says 35%. Vasundhara Raje, 42% say yes, no 35%. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, yes 42%, no 32%. So those are the first preliminary findings of our survey. To understand that survey, I am joined by several special guests. To my extreme left is Dhananjay Joshi of Cicero, which has conducted the survey. National Affairs Editor of India Today TV, Javed Ansari is with us. Raj Chengappa, Editorial Director of India Today, is with us. RPN Singh, Congressman and former Minister in the Manmohan Singh government, is with us. And Seshadri Chari of the BJP is with us. And Pawan Verma of the Janata Dal United is also joining us. I appreciate all of you joining us. Let's come to those first set of questions. Seshadri Chari, quick response to what you've just seen from those questions. The one thing which is clear is that somewhere Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara Raje, Lalit Gate, Vyapam has dented the image of your government. 54% are saying yes. 54%, almost half are saying that these ministers should have resigned. Do you accept that your government hasn't handled this controversy well?
No, I don't think so. I don't think dented would be a very correct word. Yes, little bit of affected, it has affected the image a little bit somewhere or the other.
The sheen has gone, some of this thing, has the sheen slightly worn off? No?
No, not even that.
Not even that?
And moreover, the government handled it very well. And if this survey probably was conducted on the last day of Parliament, where the Finance Minister and the Foreign Minister both spoke, and they revealed how good the speakers they were, as good as they were when they were the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha respectively. If had this been done on that day, right, the mood of the people would have drastically changed. The way they have conducted
this survey was conducted between the 24th of July and 5th of August, so before the final day. But quick first response from you, RPN Singh, to this first finding of the survey. What it is showing very clearly also, because I'm now going to look not just at the survey, but the results that have come out in Madhya Pradesh last week in the civic elections and Rajasthan today. It clearly shows that for all the noise the Congress has made, it hasn't translated into votes. Vasundhara has won in Rajasthan, Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh.
Well, Rajdi, one thing is very clear, that according to your survey, all two chief ministers and the cabinet minister should have resigned. That is the mood of the nation. That is what we've seen in the report. That
About 50%, around one in every two.
Do you want more than 50%
Not
to say
even
that you
50,
should
42%.
46%.
So don't say 50.
46%. More people have said they should resign. So our stand on corruption stands vindicated according to your survey. We would say there are more people who would be more in favor of that. But according to your survey...
It's not worked in their home state. Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Vasundhara Raje have won their states.
Yes, I'm coming to that. One thing is that our stand against corruption, against the BJP ministers, stands vindicated according to your survey. Everybody has agreed that all three of them should have resigned. And it has dented the BJP in 15 months. Now we come to the second part of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan municipal corporation elections. You know very well, if you see Rajasthan, we've just given out the data, 25% vote share has come down of the BJP since the Lok Sabha elections and these municipal elections. In 15 months, the nation voted with great anticipation and hope.
I must say that politicians have a remarkable knack of clutching to figures that suit them. The fact is they have won the majority of the councils, but you are saying that their vote share has come down.
No,
it's an interesting point that you're making, but I'm getting first of the Raj, first look at these figures. Does it show that in some way this entire controversy, which has now played out for almost 3 months, has somewhere affected public perception of the Narendra Modi government? Have his ministers dented the leader?
Without doubt, Rajdeep, I think the public is sending a very large message. If Mr. Modi talked about zero tolerance for corruption, the public is replying, we have zero tolerance for corruption. And the way the BJP and the government handle this particular controversy and the way it has been dealing with black money and other issues, the public is sending out a message. They are not happy with all these promises that he made, and he has not been able to deliver on them.
So this idea, na khaunga, na khane dunga. Let's be clear, Javed. The fact is there hasn't been any major corruption scandal, certainly that has affected the Prime Minister's office or Mr. Modi personally. And in both these instances also, it's not yet clear whether any of his ministers have been on the take as a Raja was, let's say, in 2G when the Congress was in power. To that extent, would you say that we in the media have magnified this issue, but out there, Mr. Modi himself has managed to distance himself from his ministers?
Well, it is true that Mr. Modi remains, his image still remains high. But it's also true that the moral halo that the BJP government had acquired, severe big holes have been punctured into it. And it is reflected in the fact, look at Rajasthan, while they've still won a majority, they've won 2/3 majority in the assembly elections, and now they barely scrapped in Jhalawar and in Dholpur. Both these constituencies where one belongs to the chief minister, the other to a son. In both those places, the Congress has won several of the seats.
Can I ask you, Dhananjay, when you do a survey of this kind and ask a question like this, do you get a uniform response across the country? There are parts of the country where this may not resonate at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, is it resonating much more in North India, for example, since all these leaders come from North India than in the South or the West?
Yeah. Well, more in North. Also because the parliament is here, there's more coverage over here, and these political leaders come from the so-called tainted ministers, come from the Hindi belt, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, North India. So this is more in North India, but overall the mood is such, and if you look at it, if I just break up this figure of 54%, then 34% say clearly that yes, it has tainted Modi's image. Whereas another 20% say that it's tainted it to some extent. Now it's this 20% which is going to swing on either side in the months to come, and that is what is going to.
So there's a large can't say. There's a large can't say. There's a lot of fence sitters, and we're going to find that in several questions. There are a lot of people who are still sort of
fence sitters,
who become fence sitters, who may have, of course, during election time, general elections, taken clear sides, who become fence sitters. Pawan Verma of the Janata Dal United, and we've got you here because the next big test, of course, is Bihar. Pawan Verma, the first reaction that we are getting to our questions on Sushma Swaraj and Vasundhara show that yes, the BJP has in a sense suffered a dent to its image. Many people wanted these ministers to resign, but it doesn't seem as of now, at least, to be the kind of issue that has overwhelmed this government. I don't see it in the manner that you might want to project it as if Narendra Modi's government has been overwhelmed by Lalit Gate or by Vyapam. That's not shown in these first early findings.
No, it may not have overwhelmed the government, because don't forget, Rajdeep, Mr. Narendra Modi won just about a year ago a sweeping majority in the Lok Sabha. And the momentum of that election should have in fact carried him much further than it has now. And it hasn't done that because of the lackluster performance of his government and the great gulf between what he promised and what he delivered. However, it's significant that for a Prime Minister who has as late as 25th May of this year was claiming that there was not one example of corruption in his one-year government, is today engulfed in scams which believe that one of his senior-most cabinet ministers on moral and other grounds should have resigned, that another state where the BJP in power, the chief minister, should have resigned, and cumulatively these two have severely dented his own image. In other words, people are seeing through the veneer.
You know, the fact that you keep
between the image and the glass.
You keep saying that, and RPN Singh, you'll keep saying that. The fact is, where is the corruption directly linked to Narendra Modi in any of these cases? Vyapam has happened, is a scam that dates back to the, to 7 years, 8 years ago, well before Mr. Modi came to power. The fact is that in Sushma Swaraj's case also, you haven't yet proven corruption. You've suggested that there is corruption, but where is the quid pro quo? The question that she raised and in fact put it on the Congress, that the Congress has got much to answer for. Do you believe that you can actually translate these issues into votes? Do you really believe that the impression you can send out is that this is a corrupt government?
The thing is, it's been 15 months, as Mr. Verma said.
Yes.
You know, in 15 months, the BJP came up with great aspirational hope that they gave the people, and without doubt, I like to congratulate the PM that he's a great showman. But unfortunately, why we're not seeing a great shift immediately, because of 15 months, the people of this country are disappointed with Mr. Modi as well as this government. They will soon start getting disillusioned, and when they start getting disillusioned, that's when the real problems begin, because then BJP workers will not be able to leave their homes.
I'm going to come in a moment to whether they're actually disappointed and disillusioned when we see the big numbers. I'm going to leave that suspense for a moment, but I'm just wondering whether there has been an over focus on Sushma Swaraj and Vasundhara Raje in the last few months. What's happening? People aren't people obsessed, you think, Raj, for example, with Vasundhara Raje and Lalit Modi? Are we in the media obsessed with this issue?
Let's not forget, Rajdeep, that in the last couple of years, corruption has been the #1 concern for a large section of this country. You've seen the rise of Kejriwal as a result of that. And we had expected a lot more from Mr. Modi. I think what you're seeing is a perception. It's not so much that Vasundhara and Sushma have sort of held the public, enthralled or whatever it is, or concerned about it. I think it's the way they handle this crisis. The fact that Mr. Modi chose to remain silent in Parliament, didn't address those issues, not seem decisive as normally he is.
You know, that's a good point, because, you know, that's precisely the question, Seshadri Chari, why the Prime Minister speaks on every occasion, but he doesn't say a word on Vyapam, doesn't say a word on the entire Lalit Modi controversy. Don't you think somewhere that Mr. Modi needs to try and reassess? Somewhere you have to also reset? Or are you saying that everything that the way you've handled this crisis, the way you're going to handle every crisis, where the Prime Minister will distance himself from Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara, won't even attend Parliament when it comes to a crucial debate on Lalit Modi?
You can expect the Prime Minister to answer questions which are of very great relevance. But for a party like Congress...
Are you saying Vyapam is not of relevance? Are you saying that the Lalit Modi issue was not of relevance?
For a party like Congress, they should have done their homework. In Vyapam, most of the cases that has happened, most of the things go back to their own government. It was the Shivraj Singh government itself, for the first time, it was they who approached the Supreme Court and blew the lid off. It was Shivraj Singh government itself. And in the case of Lalit Modi gate also, after Lalit Modi started speaking, it was the congressmen who were running for cover and not the BJP. And after the last day when Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley spoke, the Congress had no defense. And for all the matter, whatever they did
as
in
far
Parliament,
as you are concerned, this is now history.
Where is the question?
And particularly after these elections, where victories of Vasundhara now and of Sushma, resignation, and of Shivraj Singh Chauhan, question of resignation does not even come into the picture anymore.
If there is any element of truth in all these allegations, the Congress party should have allowed a debate in the Parliament. Instead of allowing a debate, they wanted to carry the debate to the public forum. And they lost badly in the public forum as well as the perception in the Parliament.
That's why your report shows that they should all resign. they are just brazening out corruption. You know, you can brazen out because they have 282, they think you can do anything, and they're just brazening out with their brute majority. But the Prime Minister does not talk about corruption. There is only one way. You can hear him, press can't ask him a question, no one can ask. He has not made one speech in Parliament where all the things that he says, be it in Dubai, be it in Bihar, because people in Parliament will tear him to shreds if they get the opportunity to reply to all his questions.
It's 9 o'clock. Let's come to the big numbers. This is what we want to. If there is a snap poll today, what happens? If there is a snap poll today, what will happen? Has the mood of the country changed? Is Mr. Modi still riding the crest of a wave? The India Today survey, this is our projection. The BJP, as far as our survey says, is getting, as of now, Lok Sabha polls, remember, they got 31% of the vote. They are still getting 31%. So the BJP is holding firm. The BJP's allies, Lok Sabha 2014, had got 7.4%. They are marginally down if a snap poll is held today with 6%. But add the two and they come to around 37%, which is just marginally down from 38.4% that they got in the Lok Sabha elections. Now take a look at the Congress party. Lok Sabha elections, they got 19.3% of the vote. If there is a snap poll today, they are marginally up, 21%. So they are up by about 2%. The Congress's allies, 2.4, marginally up to 3%. Add the two, the UPA, which got 21.7, would now be up by about 2.3% to 24%. The big question now, how is this translating into seats? Remember, this is a Cicero poll, India Today Cicero poll. So if it's gone wrong, blame Cicero. Lok Sabha elections, 282 seats. Snap poll, if it's held today, the BJP goes down to 243. So vote share is intact, but in terms of seats, the BJP would be down by about 40 seats. The allies, 53 seats in Lok Sabha, if there's a snap poll today, would be down by about 8 seats. So effectively, the NDA, which got 335 seats, would now be down to 288. That's about 47 seats down compared to what happened in May 2014. The Congress party, Lok Sabha elections of 2014, they got 44 seats. If a snap poll is held today, they would get 62 seats. So the Congress goes up by about 18 seats. The Congress's allies, 15 seats in 2014, they would be marginally up to 19. Totally, UPA from 59 seats is going up to 81 seats. So that's the first big figure. The BJP or the NDA would still get a majority. Narendra Modi would still be Prime Minister of a majority government if there was a snap poll today, is the first big finding, the really big finding. Dhananjay Joshi, you know, the good thing about a snap poll is that you don't have to worry about it, right? Because the real poll is going to take place in 2019. No one's going to remember what you did in 2015.
I don't have a gun on my head.
You don't have a gun on your head. But how, given the kind of sample size, is there a clear sense that Mr. Modi still retains his preeminent position and the BJP is still the preeminent national party?
Yeah, but this trend is consistent. We went to the field for the last wave of Mood of the Nation sometime in the month of March. And the BJP was sliding down. It was still ahead of a majority, but it was sliding down. And now we see that the BJP alone will not be in a majority. So this is a consistent trend, but the gap between the BJP and the Congress and other parties is so big that certainly BJP is still in safe territory and NDA together is in safe territory.
Javed, your first reactions?
My first reaction, there is a sense of disappointment. That disappointment is certainly not turned into anger just yet, but it's just been 15 months.
You're saying there is disappointment against the government in terms of expectation management?
Certainly, if there wasn't, they wouldn't be down 40 seats.
How are they down 40 seats? If I have got the same vote share, viewers will ask me that. Particularly Modi's supporters on Twitter will again attack me. How come the vote share has not changed, but seats are down by 40? Well, where is the BJP losing?
Well, this is the national vote share. In Uttar Pradesh, they had 73 seats last time. Now, if they come down by 25-30 seats, it's a lot.
Are they taking the biggest hit at the moment in UP?
Yeah, the biggest hit is in UP because UP was a state where it was an exceptional result.
What's your,
Bihar is a close call.
Bihar is a close call?
Bihar is a close call and we need to be really careful about Bihar because it's the next state
I know this is a small sample size. Is the BJP's hit, if at all, that they are taking primarily North India?
Primarily in North India, Haryana, they've got a hit. In terms of votes, they've got a big hit in Haryana. Rajasthan, they have a hit. Madhya Pradesh, they have a hit. But in all these states, the lead that they had was about 20 points.
Good, well put. Okay, first reactions from you, Raj?
If I was Prime Minister Modi and the BJP, I'd be very, very worried.
Worried?
Yes, because this is the second consecutive poll that shows a clear decline for the BJP in seats. The poll also shows that it is...
Raj, it's only in seats. The gap still is about 14 percentage points between NDA and the UPA.
Fair enough. I checked what was the results when, you know, this is after all a quarter of the term of Prime Minister Modi. I checked the 2006 poll that India Today did when UPA finished 1 year.
Yes.
They hadn't dropped seats. I checked in 2010, they hadn't dropped seats when we did this quarter of term poll. So you are seeing a trend that should have the BJP concerned, Prime Minister Modi concerned. There is a decline in perception, and if you really look at it, he had for the first time he had a historic majority.
He still has that majority,
True.
but you're saying there is a decline which has come in 15 months. Seshadri Chari, you should be worried is the initial reaction which is coming. You don't seem to be worried at all.
No,
I mean, look, it perhaps shows how the world has changed. One time when you got 182 seats, it was treated as a victory. Today, 288 seats, and people are saying BJP should be worried.
No, I'm not worried.
Should be worried, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not that I'm not worried. I take it as a good news and a bad news. The good news is that fortunately the snap polls and the laptops, the media discussions in cool comforts of studios, they really don't determine the seats in parliament.
They used to determine it earlier, now because it's unfavorable, they don't.
Just a minute.
It's still there.
Yes.
But yes, I think if as
are
Raj
you worried
said,
or not?
As Raj said,
are you worried?
As Raj said, this is a wake-up call, and I think the party should take this wake-up call.
Okay, that's interesting that at least a BJP leader is now at least suggesting there's a wake-up call in the fact that seats are coming down from 335 to 288. But Pawan Verma, it is still a majority. Look at the gap. The UPA is 81 and the NDA is 288. You would be clutching at straws if you suggested that Mr. Modi is down.
Rajdeep, let me answer this as clearly as I can.
Yes.
It's very, very unlikely that the predominance of the BJP after such a massive victory just a year ago would plummet suddenly within the space of 1 year.
Yes.
It would remain the predominant party. But what is significant in this poll is that so soon after that spectacular result, there has been a severe and visible erosion. Now, if you magnify that by 5 times, which is the probable trend that could take place as the opposition learns, as the opposition realizes that if it's divided, the BJP gains, as new alliances emerge, as the gap between promise and delivery of the BJP becomes more transparent, I believe that the trend that has emerged just now, I'm not talking of absolute figures, Rajdeep.
Yes.
The trend that has emerged right now is significant and is a pointer to what will be the situation by the year 2019.
You know, that's interesting because one of the benefits that the BJP, of course, had in those 2014 elections was its remarkable strike rate. In states like your home state of UP, where they won 73 seats, in Bihar, in Jharkhand, across north and western India in particular. But RP and Singh, look at the gap. The fact is the Congress, for all your huffing and puffing, is still only about a percentage or 2 up. The BJP at the end of the day is still 37%, you're still 21%. It's a 16% difference.
Well, Rajdeep, one thing is sure according to your survey, that there's going to be no Congress Mukt, there's not going to be Bharat Mukt Congress, because the Congress is gaining seats. So that can be a pipe dream for the BJP. But if you see...
Look at what days have come that at 60 seats, the Congress is delighted, the premier national party of the country.
Yes. We are saying, yes, we performed badly. We accepted that. And we accepted the verdict of the people. And as Mr. Raj said, in 2009, when the UPA was in government, we didn't have such a great fall. In 2010, after 15 months, we still held on to our seats. So can you imagine the kind of hype and hoopla this government came with? In 15 months, that balloon has been punctured. That is according to the same survey you did. In 2009, we didn't have a majority and we still held on to that after 15 months.
Is that your big takeaway? The bubble has burst. The bubble has burst.
And one thing I like to say, what we are saying, the issue that is plaguing this country is not only corruption, be it farmers, be it our foreign policy, be it the jobs for students, everything that the Prime Minister and the party promised is failing miserably. The Prime Minister and the government keeps changing goalposts every 3 months.
You know, then we will come to the issues.
98% of the people,
yes,
98% of the people have given a decisive opinion, with only 13% saying it is poor performance. The majority of them are saying, contrary to that, as Dhananjay mentioned, I mean, the can't says are almost 23% and 26% in other cases, whereas in this case. Right. Therefore, of course, for anything, for a government, for the set of people, 1 year is too long a period.
Sir, let's be clear. 1 year ago, August 20, no, 1 minute, sir.
It's August, too early to say the bubble burst
sir,
and all these things.
In 2018, sir, when we did this survey in 2014, Mr. Modi was walking on water. He could walk on water. 1 year later, are you getting a sense that Mr. Modi, you used the word wake-up call, I didn't.
Yes.
Is it an alarm? Is it a wake-up call? Is it a wake-up call?
I still say any such poll, any such snap poll which says even if you are losing 1 seat from 282, I will be worried.
Okay, that's
they're losing majority. They're losing majority.
No, they're not losing majority.
If the Prime Minister,
the BJP is down to 243 as per our survey.
That means the Prime Minister cannot hold his party to a majority. That means that the Prime Minister is being dented as well as the BJP is getting dented. That is very clear.
We haven't had a majority government since 1984.
Yes, but can you imagine in 15 months what has happened? That is exactly what we're saying.
Let me just get a quick clarification from Dhananjay. The point that Raj made, which I think is interesting, normally in the first 15 months, which is effectively a quarter of your regime, do governments tend to hold on to their seats and hold on to their vote share? Is it unusual to have such a big dip in the number of seats?
Well, our reference is UPA.
Yes.
And both in UPA 1 and 2, I don't remember such a big dip in the first 15 months.
Is Javed, UP the key? Let's be clear. The BJP's massive victory was driven by Uttar Pradesh. When you win 73 out of 80 seats in India's largest state, and you win 31 out of 40 in a Bihar, together that was where you really won this election.
Right, that's what I want to say.
So is that really where, in a sense, the BJP needs to concentrate? Because you've got a big election coming up in Bihar in 3 months, and you've got a big election coming up in early 2017 in UP. If you were advising the BJP, would you say, be careful of what is happening in UP in particular?
If I were advising the BJP, I'd say be careful of what is happening in Bihar and in UP. Between the two, there are 120 seats. And if there's a downslide there and a substantive downslide, then this will be very dangerous for the BJP. It will be very difficult for the BJP, not for the BJP to be able to repeat 288, but even for them to then cross 200.
But please look at the condition. I come back to it of the UPA. The Congress is up from 44 to 62, Raj, and the Congress allies are up from 19 from 15. Are these signs of a recovery? Just as you said, that the BJP needs to be worried about the fact that it is losing seats. The Congress is not gaining in some great proportion. So should the Congress also be worried that for all the high voltage campaign of Rahul Gandhi, it's not translating into seats? We saw it today in the civic elections as well.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. They are clearly not the alternative.
They're not the alternative.
Yes, they have a long way to go. They'll have to work towards it. They're showing signs of what could be termed green shoots, a slight recovery that's happening over there. But they have to work far harder if they have to do. I think the real thing the poll is showing is that the perception of the Modi government, Team Modi if you'd like to call it, is beginning to hurt. They're beginning to...
Is it about managing expectations? Because when you overpromise and then don't deliver on each and every promise. For example, if you say in an election speech in rhetoric, I'm going to put 15 lakhs in your bank account, I'm bringing back black money from abroad, and it doesn't come. Is it that sense of disappointment which gets reflected, Raj?
Exactly. I mean, if you look at corruption as an issue, and that has sort of really angered people in the past, and if you're not delivering, particularly on this black money promise, where he said, he would do things and bring back the money. And though the government has done work, but you would raise these kind of expectations to a level that you can't fulfill these promises early. So I think Mr. Modi will have to, though he did say in the Independence Day speech, again he had reiterated his commitment to corruption, he would have to demonstrate it, he would have to speak out, and when his colleagues do something wrong, take decisive action.
I will, before I end this segment, ask you this once again, RPN. Honest answer has come today from Seshadri Chari that there are elements in this poll which are a wake-up call for the BJP. Are you willing to be equally honest? And say that the Congress party also needs to perhaps reset the way it goes about its politics?
Definitely. We are a party in transition. And definitely we need to pull up our socks. And it is something that we really need to work much harder. And definitely we are seeing being led by our leaders. And that is something the party workers need to do. But in this government, Rajdeep, where are the big bang ideas? They're all the UPA ideas being remodeled and which put to the public with great vigor, communicating them greatly. But where are the big bang ideas? Today we have Moody's downgrading economic expectations to 7%. We have the dollar at 65%. We have our talks with Pakistan in tatters. So and what is happening to the farmers? I come from East UP, and if anyone from the BJP goes there, what is happening to the cane growers there is shocking. And I come from the sugar bowl of this country.
You're hitting some of the buttons which obviously the BJP needs to look at. But the question, Bhavan Verma, these buttons at the moment are not translating into seats for you. The UPA allies, and I'm now going to treat you for a moment as a UPA ally, the allies are up from 15 to 19. The fact is you are starting from such a low base.
I just want to make one point.
2014, the gap was so wide that you're finding it difficult to bridge that gap.
Now, Rajdeep, let me just ask a question through you to Dhananjay.
Yes.
Is it or is it not true that the BJP with 31% of the vote roughly was for the first time that a party with such a low support electoral base got 282 seats? I believe that there is a very significant pointer there because while they got the 282 seats, it was because of the peculiar circumstance in which the opposition was divided, fractured, without a common agenda, and there was the anti-incumbency fatigue of 10 years of UPA 1 and UPA 2, and anti-incumbency is not peculiar to any one party. Now, when that combination breaks down, in other words, the anti-incumbency is against the BJP, the performance is lackluster, and the opposition is more united. At 31%, I can guarantee the BJP cannot get 243 seats.
Okay, let me also make it clear to you, at 31%, sir, the BJP got 288 seats last time. So I think, we've got to be clear, their strike rate was phenomenal.
I explained why.
Yeah, I know, but it could happen again. We don't know. We don't know whether that could happen again. But I'm going to leave it at that. That can happen in an election.
It may not happen again.
It may not happen again. It may not. Just a minute. Let's take a break. One of the questions, of course, is Mr. Modi himself. Is Mr. Modi's performance also on the downside, or is he holding on? Is he still the politician who, as I said, could walk on water a year ago? Is he still the preferred choice for Prime Minister of this country? And what of the opposition? More with the big numbers.